Vikings versus Bears, GMG pregame show. Here to preview the Monday night football game where your Minnesota Vikings head to Chicago into Soldier Field to face the Chicago Bears. And the question is it Nick Foles, or as I'm hearing rumblings this week, that they might start Mitch Trubisky again? We shall find out. But first, let me introduce the cast of characters that'll bring you this pregame show. To my immediate viewers right in the top spot, we have the base ripper, the Rooster. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good. How you guys doing? 2-game win streak. We're going to the Super Bowl, homeboy.
Absolutely. And also, right below me in the viewer's screen is the man from the frozen north. The one that's the drone master, the king of the jungle, Rhino.
What up, boys?
How you doing, Rhino?
Doing good.
It's a good sound effect. What the hell was that?
Yeah, it kind of was.
What up, Rhino?
It's one of them killer drones.
Uh-huh. It was,
Hey.
you know. When he's chasing deer with it or something.
Yeah, they told me I can't do that. Try it
Anymore.
once.
Wait, now we need a drum roll.
And now, finally joining us once again, the master of disaster, the one and only, whoop, 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 Mr. Chad Glover.
That was a Huey, wasn't it? Sounded like a Huey.
It was. How you doing, Ted? That's all I could get.
Boys,
I don't have
better
any
after he gets a lot. Let's light this candle. Let's go.
Oh, what are we waiting? What is he waiting for? Christ's sake, come on, rookie.
If I could get a soundtrack of a Chinook, I would.
Okay,
Or MH-53, either one.
that's fine. I flew Hueys in flight school, so.
How about soundtrack of Mila Kunis? Let's do that.
That's probably
That works.
copyright.
That works.
Unless you get her in the bedroom.
Did
Gentlemen?
you not watch The Black Swan?
What?
The Black Swan? Did you not see The Black Swan?
No, I have not seen the Black Swan. Is it?
Dude,
See it? You tell me to see it?
there's one scene you need to see in The Black Swan.
Okay.
Just one.
I'm
We'll
queuing
talk
it up.
off camera.
Shot that little tidbit down there. Got it. Soldier
All right.
Field, boys. Soldier Field. Where we always shine.
Like a 5-watt light bulb in the Astrodome.
Yep. Oh, been there. That's a unique stadium. Anyways, yes, we're at Soldier Field, outside, in prime time, on grass, or whatever their mixture of turf is. The wonderful games that everybody can watch and that Kirk Cousins does so well. So, the Vikings are presently, since 2020, 4-16 going into Soldier Field. It has been a house of horrors. We've come back.
Dave, you said since 2020. They're technically 0-0
Oh, well.
since 2020. It's so
Wrong.
real.
Since 2000, pardon me, the last 20 years.
Wow. That's
Thanks
bad.
for correcting
That's so
that.
bad.
That is bad.
Today is this Sunday will be the first start of the new decade. First game of the new decade right here.
Yes.
Because they count them from 2010 to 2019. So we're starting anew, afresh, or whatever you want to call it.
And it's time to beat Nagy. the
Yeah, that's
offensive
something we
genius
have
that
not
he
done,
is.
or Zimmer hasn't done, period, yet.
Well, he beat the other guy, so maybe this is in order. He beat LeBrock. What the hell's his name?
LaFleur.
LaFleur.
Cram it
Okay.
up your cram hole, LaFleur.
Not LeBrock. We all remember Kelly LeBrock?
Kelly LeBrock, yeah.
Weird. Yeah. All right. That's Black Swan right there. Okay, go ahead, David.
Dude, it's not. Trust me.
The last time,
I'm watching.
Last time we won there was 2017. Time before was 2015. And then I'd have to look. It was way back beyond that. But there's only been 4 times in the last 20 years. This will, as Drew is correct, the decades start on the zeros. This starts the new decade. And things will change, and we will win again.
You think so, huh?
Yeah, well, you think about 4-16 against a division rival, and we've supposedly been, or the top, one of the top teams in the division. You're not a top team in the division going 4-16 against your division rivals. That's Detroit Lion territory there.
Yeah,
not on the road. Not on the road, especially when the Bears have been, for the most part, mediocre to bad for the better part of these
20 years.
Right.
But they do have a good defense. And the numbers will point to that. Drew, tell us about the numbers this week.
The thing that stood out to me the most is probably where the Vikings are going to want to attack. It's pretty obvious that the Vikings' bread and butter is after 8 weeks, after halfway through the season. They're going to run the football, try to just have Kirk be the game manager and not lose the game. They are last in rushing, the Bears offense. So if Zimmer's smart, he will disrupt the pass game as much as he can and make them work, at least try to run the ball for no gain and try to go about that way. I mean, they're the worst rushing team in the league. So that's got to do nothing but help the Vikings up front. So,
but they're typically not a great rushing team, and they always seem to run well against us. Now, granted, Tariq Cohen is out, and what do they got? Montgomery is basically the only back they got of any note, isn't it?
Yeah, I think Montgomery is down. They're 32nd in rushing, 21st in passing, and 29th overall on offense. So,
and Nagy's an offensive guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's numbers are usually out the door when what you can count on this week? You can count on 2 or 3 weird ass trick plays from Nagy. It's coming. I'm telling you. He does it all the time.
It always does, yeah.
Some kind of triple option down at the goal line on a 2-point play, a block or a fake punt. You got block punt on the mind. Fake punt, fake field goal, triple end around, stand on your head and kick the ball sideways, whatever. Some shit's coming because he does it to Zimmer all the time with the trick plays. But this game is really going to be won and lost on the Vikings' bread and butter, which is the rushing attack, against the front 7 of the Bears, which, I mean, believe it or not, the Bears have a better pass defense than their rush defense. Their pass defense is 7th in the league, and their rush defense is 14th. So if the Vikings can have any success on the ground, which they haven't had there since that 2017 game when they ran for 159 yards, which probably had a lot to do with that win. Since then, the last 2 games at Soldier Field, the Vikings have amassed 62 yards of rushing total.
And how many games?
2. They had in 2018 they had 14 carries for 22 yards, and last year they had 40 yards on 16 carries. That's 62 yards of rushing offense over the course of 2 games. That's not going to get it done.
Yeah,
and it sounds like it's averaging like maybe 2 yards a carry.
Yeah, and if it comes down to that, you're throwing it all on Cousins to win the game, and
I'm drinking, boys.
It's all, so they have, I don't know what it is, but Cook has never gotten on track in that stadium. He doesn't even look like he's near getting on track in that stadium, and this Sunday will be the test. It's going to be the test for Cook, but it's also going to be a test for this offensive line. We saw what they did at that team up in Wisconsin at Lambeau. We saw them destroy the Lions at the line of scrimmage. If they're for real, this is the test. The Chicago Bears.
Yes. It's strength on strength. The Vikings' strength being their offense against the Bears' strength being their defense.
Right.
And that's the way it was. And Cook, back in 18, ran for 12 yards, and in 19 ran for 35 of those low totals. So he's got plenty of room to improve on that. And the question is, will he? And everybody suspects that he should, but it's Soldier Field.
Well,
Ted, that 2018 game, guys, he had 12 yards on 9 rushes.
See, and Dave, I'm gonna kind of gently push back on expecting Cook to have a good game at Soldier Field. I have said this until I'm purple in the face, as purple as this Vikings hoodie I'm wearing. But a zone blocking scheme has yet to work in the NFL that I'm aware of against an NFL defense that is as athletic as your offensive linemen are and bigger, which the Chicago Bears front seven is. You can mismatch a zone blocking scheme when you have bad defensive lines or unathletic defensive lines. You generally do not succeed when you have a defense as big and as athletic as the Chicago Bears are. And they always seem to be every year. And it's always a problem for the Vikings, whether they're facing them in U.S. Bank Stadium or especially for whatever reason in Soldier Field.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and that's the thing, Dalvin's been Offensive Player of the Week for the last 2 weeks. But, that I'd like to say that the offensive line is going to be able to show us here, but like Drew said, this is the test.
So what do you think the Bears are going to do then? You got the back-to-back NFC Offensive Player of the Week. And if I'm the Chicago Bears, I'm going to say, I don't care. If I'm Matt Nagy, I walk into the defensive room and say, look, I'm just going to say hi before I go back to the offense, but this is what you're going to do. I don't care what it is, but I don't care who it is, but Dalvin Cook is not going to beat us. You're going to put 9 guys in the box. I don't care what you do, but you will stop Dalvin Cook. What's the Vikings' answer going to be?
That's exactly what he's done the last 2 years, Ted. That's his been approach, and it's worked.
And it's gonna go that way again. And then you throw on top of all of it how well the leader of our passing game tends to play in games like this. Monday night games, on the road, on grass. He hasn't, since he's been here, he hasn't had great games against Chicago. I remember what you say earlier this week, Drew. He won a couple times when he was with the Washington team, but there's nothing that points to our offense being able to do something if they shut Cook down, and that's going to be the $84 million question: is if they can or not.
Well, and that's the question. And part of that's going to be Dennison and his blocking, and whether he schemes enough to move the line, eliminate some of those guys in the box just by a shift to get a single crease for Dalvin to hit. And if Dalvin gets through the box, he's gone.
And I will say that if Dalvin can get to the second level, he's going to be tough to bring down. And nobody breaks initial tackles better than Dalvin Cook. I think he's leading the league in yards after initial contact, or some weird.
And then his elusiveness that is ungodly. Yes.
So there's that, but I don't know that there's a much better defense that's more fundamentally sound in terms of tackling and gap discipline and knowing their assignments and knowing their roles in the Bears. This is a tough order for the Vikings.
They're strong and they're fast. It's literally Dennison's going to have to scheme it to get somebody to step off position.
Yeah, scheme, huh?
I don't.
Yeah.
You're dealing with.
Okay. Sounds like a pyramid. Sounds like a pyramid scheme, but
you had that team for Wisconsin and the team from the Lions, and between both those teams, they had probably one good linebacker. You're walking into a team they specialize in linebackers. The Bears linebackers are fucking good. I don't know how else to tell you.
They always are. I mean,
Dalvin he's really good at getting to that second level. Like Ted said, once you get to the second level, he's gone. You almost got to get past the second level to the third level with the Bears.
Right.
I'm looking for, even if he pulls off some chunk plays to keep their defense honest. The problem is going to be the 3 and outs when we're getting minus yards on rushing and they're just overpowering us. Then the Vikings go into a shell and they have at the end of the half, they have 29 yards. That's what's been happening there.
And we keep throwing 6-yard passes to Chad Beebe on 3rd and 8.
Yes.
I don't.
For me, the key to this for the Vikings offense is manageable down and distance, staying ahead of down and distance. Dalvin Cook, and I'm not saying it wouldn't be great, Drew. If Dalvin Cook can consistently get to the second and third level, the Vikings are going to have a good night. I think everybody agrees with that. I mean, if he gets past a linebacker and into the secondary, the Vikings have won that battle.
And I agree. It's just the last 2 games he's been so astonishingly bad in that stadium. It concerns me.
So for me, the key is on Monday is to get, get a chunk, but at least get positive yards. Get on first down if you're going to run the ball, get 3 or 4 yards. 2nd and 6 is as opposed to losing 1 or 2. 2nd and 6 is a hell of a lot better than 2nd and 12. And at 2nd and 6, now your whole playbook is open up, and you can do those short dump offs to Chad Beebe, for God's sakes, or you can run the ball again on 2nd down and get 3rd and short. And now that you even have more options, and you can roll Irv Smith and Rudolph into the mix there. So that's going to be the thing. If the Vikings and this happens all the time, it seems like in Chicago, their offense cannot get on track because they're consistently 2nd and 10, 3rd and 12, 2nd and 11, 2nd and 9, 3rd and 15, or they'll make a really good play and get it like 2nd and short, or even make a first down, and they'll get zapped with a holding call or just something like that. They absolutely cannot do that on Monday and expect.
Well, and then when it boils, if Cook is getting slammed, so we got those 2nd and longs or 3rd and longs. I mean, that kills the play action, and that's the one thing Kirk's good at is throwing off a play action. But if they know that they're stopping the run, the play action basically goes out the window. I mean, then you're gotta, adjust on the fly, which we're always very good at, so we're probably okay there. But
well, one thing I'll say the Vikings do have going for them this week, and that's something I've seen a lot last week. How do you beat an athletic, speedy, quick, aggressive defense? You beat them with screen pass and misdirection.
Mm-hmm.
If they're smart, they'll keep the screen game as heavily as they were last week with the Lions, because that'll set the Bears back. That's how you beat them. You get some successful screens. You get the flow of the defense going one way with some misdirection. You throw it back the other way on a slant or something. But they're going to have an exceptional game plan with maybe a lot of creativity mixed in this week. And like Ted said, it seems like they go to the Soldier Field. The game starts gloomy. The Bears always drive and score first. Always.
Yeah, they do.
And then it's 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, first down, 3 and out. The Bears get another field goal. It's 10-0. Then it's 10-3. Then there's some weird fucking safety, and it's 10-5. So the Bears get a pick six, 17-5. Bears score again, 24-5. Vikings get a touchdown. Game's over. That's how it seems. We got to hit them in the mouth first. They let a backup quarterback come in and drive all the way down in the opening drive a couple years ago. Remember that? Chase Daniel comes in, drives all the way down. They score. We have to score first in Soldier Field for once. Can we score first? One time.
No,
because we'll win the toss and we'll defer, give the Bears the ball first, and then they'll go march down, and Trubisky will look like Joe freaking Montana or something. And
I don't know what it is with that stadium, but it's so gloomy and shitty to us. I don't know. The Vikings.
It's a crash flying saucer in the middle of a cow pasture. Is what that place is.
Yeah.
Vikings have moved into third in the NFL as a rush team. Rushing the ball, they are third in the NFL, the Vikings. which is
that's good. I mean, that's great. But
yeah, that's great. 160 yards a game. So
well,
I think we're all in agreement.
Dalvin Cook,
Dalvin
Cook
on the
has
Bears.
more than that. One thing I saw this week, Dalvin Cook has more yards rushing than 9 teams in the NFL.
Yeah, but look what he's done when he's gone to Soldier Field the last 2 years.
Right, but that's the problem. That it's kind of like back when Peterson was here when we go play San Francisco, and he could run for 200 yards the week before, and he'd run for 12 against San Francisco. Always,
Ted, are they going to get Cousins out of that pocket this week? Are they going to get him out of the pocket with a little bit of area to see and move and throw, or are they going to leave him back there to get his ass whipped again?
I think they have to move him. We talked about the screens and the misdirections. Part of that misdirection is a naked woggle or a bootleg. I think, and when you have a defense that can pursue and get after the quarterback as well as Chicago's defense can, I think you really need to have a pocket that moves, sets up, off of a rollout, off a play action rollout, or if you're not, man, you better be doing 3-step drops and a lot of short crossing stuff and outs and whatever. And Kirk can make those throws. It just depends on how they game plan it and how the Bears attack the Vikings offense initially and what the Vikings do to respond.
I wonder if Zimmer is thinking this week, the last 2 years, I've stuck to my offensive identity. I've gone in there the last 2 years. I'm going to run the ball. Running is my offense. That's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to run it. And the last 2 years, it's failed. I wonder if this year he's going to go in there and go, you know what? We're going to throw the ball the first drive. Or are we just going to start doing the same? Are we just going to go with what's got us the last 2 weeks?
We're going to go the same because I honestly think during the bye week that Kubiak and Zimmer and everybody sat down and said, okay, how are we going to do this here? Okay, we can't let Kirk beat us. And how do we not let Kirk beat us? You minimize what he has to do. You let him hand the ball off to Cook 20, 25 times, Madison another 5 to 7 times, whatever, and only have Kirk throw when you need him to. He's in the last 2 games. It was 19 or 20 dropbacks last week and 14 against the team from Wisconsin. So, I mean, that's one game worth of throwing for most quarterbacks that are worth their salt at all in the league. We're treating him like he's some marginal backup that our starter got hurt, and we're just trying not to lose games until the starter comes back again.
How long do they stick to the run before they give it up when it's not working? That's my question.
I think it depends. How do they get behind? I mean, because that game scenario that you so accurately portrayed, Drew. The one thing you forgot is the Vikings defense after that drive usually plays pretty well. They pretty much stonewall the Bears for the better part of 2.5 quarters, but the Vikings offense keeps going 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, and they just get tired. And then it's at some point, no matter how good you're playing, when you get tired, you're going to start getting beat and you're going to start giving up points. I would hope the Vikings, if they realize early that the running game is not going the way they expect it to, would make adjustments and start throwing it and making the Bears put a couple more guys back in the secondary, not have 8 dudes up in the box. Because, look, for all of Kirk's troubles this year, he's still a talented quarterback, and he's got Adam Thielen, Justin Jefferson, Irv Smith, Kyle Rudolph, Dalvin out of the backfield. I mean, they could do some damage through the air if they have to. It's just, are they going to make that choice to do so? That's a good question. That's a really good question.
And is he going to be able to, or is he going to wilt under the lights in prime time? That, I hate saying, okay, yeah, he always does it, so that's what's going to happen. But until he proves to me that it's not going to happen, it's kind of hard not to think that way.
I mentioned – oh, go ahead, Dave. Sorry.
I was about to say, it goes to that first long pass. It'll tell us how it goes. Just like I said last year. Drew brought up this week. Oh. It's that first long pass. If he throws and he connects, he's going to have a good night. If like we all suspect or should happen, the first play of this game, since they know Dalvin's won player of the week the last 2 weeks, you go to play action, fake the handoff to Dalvin, and hit Justin Jefferson streaking down the side, or Adam Thielen, right? But if we do that, and he goes up and he throws, and then suddenly it's picked off, it's a long night.
The Vikings don't have to go crazy offensively, guys. The Bears average 19 points a game. That's it. They're not very good offensively. So if the Vikings can think of themselves around the 25 to 30 range, to whatever we got to do, we got to put up those points, whether it means kicking a field goal or score, whatever they got to do to get above 20 points. Because the Bears, they're not a very prolific offense. If you're averaging only 19 points in football today, that's not very good.
Especially this year.
Conversely, I don't know how much passing yards Cousins is going to get on it against a defense that only gives up 218 a game. 218 yards is squat for an NFL team. That's not a lot. So
that's in this day and age, it's really good. Yeah,
I think he's only throwing for a couple hundred yards a game. So they got to come up with a game plan to think, all right, if we get to the 24-point range, 24 to 28 points, we're probably good to go. I mean, I'm saying that, regardless of how much we got, 30 a game, but their offense isn't a quick strike. They're not the Chiefs, man. The Bears have to drive the field on you. They get defensive penalties on you. They nitpick 5 yards here and there, and they work it down. And that's how, what's their record? What's the Bears' record?
I think 5-4.
They're 5-4. They average 19 points a game. I mean, that doesn't add up. No, so they're winning their games low scoring.
You're still asking the Vikings to put 24 points up on a really good defense.
Well, we can put up 40 points anytime we choose to, so 24 shouldn't be a problem.
Well, they give up on average 21 a game. That's what the Bears average, giving up points allowed. So I don't know. I'm really interested to see what the first quarter game plan is going to be, because adjustments need to be made. I mean, these are two teams that know each other pretty well. So, but I think the trick, I mentioned this at the top, I think the trick plays are coming. I think they are. And it's going to anger the shit out of me, and I'll probably break another remote.
Nagy always has them. I mean, you're going to run Patterson on some jet sweeps or something, or they line him up all over the place, and they're going to, you get it. I mean, we knew it from when we had him. If he has the ball in his hands, he can make a lot of things happen. It just wasn't always easy to get it in his hands. But, beyond that, I mean, their wide receiving core isn't elite by any means. I mean,
they're receivers.
The Robinson.
Tom Waddle? Is Tom Waddle still there?
Waddle.
Willie Galt.
Is Tom Waddle still there?
Willie Galt. We were talking earlier about Kirk and primetime and elite and all this other stuff, and I think we all agree. I got a couple stats I'm going to throw out here at you guys.
Yeah.
So anybody know off the top of their head? And I think we all agree the Vikings damn near have to win out or go 7-1 if people who think the Vikings are going to make the playoffs turn out to be prophets.
Playoffs,
right?
Likely, yes.
Playoffs.
So this win is a big deal.
Yes, it is.
This is a big deal.
You got to get the division.
We got to win your division games. You got to get. Now they're going to let anybody in. So who knows? 5-11 might make the playoffs this year. But anyways,
everybody but the Jets makes the playoffs.
Well, I'm about to say the NFC East. But anyways,
to get 10-6, the Vikings need to go 7-1. So getting a win in Chicago would be a big deal. Do you guys know off the top of your head what Mike Zimmer's Monday Night Football record is on the road?
Probably over.
Overall?
As a head coach of the Vikings since 2014, he's had one Monday Night Football game on the road every year. 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. Do you know what his record is in those Monday night? You say 0-5. Don't
I
it?
say 0-5.
Dave, what do you say?
I don't know.
I say over. He
1
may
and
have
4.
won one.
He won
Seattle?
one. That 2017 game against the Bears was a Monday night
with the
game.
base.
Okay.
He's 1 and 4.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. It was a night. I remember that now.
Now, 2 of those losses have come to the 2015 San Francisco 49ers, who were ass, and the 2016 Chicago Bears, who went 3-13.
Holy shit.
Now, so this is a big deal. They got to win this game. You guys know off the top of your head what Mike Zimmer's second half record is? The Vikings are 3-5.
Average second half record.
Average second half, 8 games. What's his win-loss record over the last 8 games?
3-5.
He's actually 27-21, which is pretty good. In 2014, he went 4-4, and they finished 7-9 that year.
So he's about
2015. In 2015, he went 5-3 when the Vikes finished 11-5, won the division. 2016, he went 3-5. At the time, the Vikes were 5-3. They finished 8-8, missed the playoffs.
Yeah, but the whole
2017, the Vikes kicked ass. That was the year they went to the NFC Championship, and he went 7-1 in the second half, and the Vikes went 13-3.
Every time you read off a record, Dave's spewing out an excuse for him. Yeah, offensive line. Yeah,
last year,
it was 2006.
Last year he went. Vikings started off 6-2, finished 4-4. So you take away that 7, and you can. I'm making statistics to make my point. I get it. I'm creating statistics to make my point. But you take away that 7-1 season, which you cannot rightfully do, because that was a hell of a year. But he is 20-20 over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of his 6 years as a head coach. He is 20-20 in the second half.
And add that on to this is the off year where he typically is not going to hasn't made the playoffs. The odds of us going
because we only care that the Vikings are good every other year.
Every other year, yeah. So this is our off year.
So here we go. Oh, here we go. Woo-hoo! In those off years, he was 4-4, 3-5, and 4-4. So he's not going any better than 3-5 or 4-4 this second half because it's an off year. And we accept off years. We accept losing, and we accept mediocrity here in Minnesota.
So we'll go 4-4 and finish 7-9
but
miss out on any really good players.
Bummer. Yep. He had Anthony Barr. He'd finish 8-0.
Well, I mean, my whole point of that was that
the Vikings right there.
The Vikings absolutely have to win this game Monday night if they even want to seriously entertain the thought of sneaking in the back door of the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Historically, Mike Zimmer does not have his team show up and play well on Monday night games on the road. And for the most part, in most seasons, they're just an average football team the second half of the year.
They got to go 7-1.
I mean, I'm just saying.
7-1 will give them that 7th spot. If they go 6-2, it'll be close. And if the NFL has to cancel games, then you add another playoff position.
Yeah.
You imagine what Flip is saying to us right now? Flip's
going nuts.
Oh.
Shut up, guys.
What I'm trying to do is remove any hope anybody who watches this show thinks the Vikings have going to the playoffs. I mean, that's my whole point.
Abandon all hope, ye who enter here.
They're not going 7-1. I mean, he's done that once, and he had at the time in 2017, he had arguably the best defense in Vikings history that wasn't part of the Purple People Eaters era.
He doesn't have the defense to go 7-1.
He doesn't have the defense to do it now. He doesn't have he's pretty good offense, but it's not an offense that can win shootouts regularly. Like Russell Wilson and the Seahawks can, for example.
Here you go, Ted Glover. Right now, currently, after 8 weeks, the Vikings give up 413 yards a game, and they give up 30 points a game. You're not going 7-1, giving up 413 yards a game and 29 points a game. You're not going 7-1.
But to be on the opposite side of that, what rank is the Vikings offense?
11th overall. They're slowly moving up. They've been moving up a couple spots every week. They're now 3rd overall rushing offense in the whole league.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, there's only 2 teams better than them. 160 yards a game. They're still 25th in passing, and they score 27 points a game. So if they can hit their average this week, they at least got a shot.
I can't believe they're spending that much money on quarterbacks and wide receivers.
25th.
And they're 25th in the NFL in passing.
222 passing yards.
Throwing the ball 34 times in the last 2 games is not going to get you up the ladder very high on the, in the rankings.
But
the Vikings,
you want to hear a stat that'll blow your mind?
Is it from PFF?
Yes.
It's from PFF.
Okay.
Where's Kirk Cousins ranked?
Way too high if it's PFF.
In terms of quarterbacks, ranked 1 through 32?
Not
20th?
32.
20th. I'm going to go
overall.
20th.
I'm going to go. Let's see. I'm going to go. Common sense tells me 18 to 25. Subtract 15% because it's PFF 7th.
That's not bad. Not bad at all. He's
carry the 1 divided by pi.
He's ranked 11th. And you know why he's ranked 11th?
No,
you know why he's ranked? I'm about to tell you. You know why he's ranked 11th?
Because they're on crack?
Because he hasn't thrown dropped back more than 20 times in the last 2 games. He hasn't made mistakes in the last 2 games. And because of that means his rankings moved up.
That ranking system is fucking cheese dick then.
But what about the first 6 games?
He was lower. He was much lower. And it's because he's not making some mistakes.
He's a top 10 quarterback.
Yeah, that means the ranking system is bad. I mean,
yes, it's not taking into effect
the only real
certain things
spot where PFF does a decent job of ranking things is positions that are typically hard because they don't put up points, stuff like offensive line. They do a decent job with that. But when you take the PFF and then you take the eye test, you can take PFF and crumple it up and throw it in a goddamn garbage can. The eye test is going to tell you what it is. I don't care if PFF says he's the number 1 goddamn quarterback in the league. He's about 20 to 25, like Ted said.
But it shows the flaw in their system.
Right. Oh, yeah. You don't have to tell us there's flaws in their system, Dave.
Arcega Whiteside showed me the fucking flaw in their system. I saw that years ago.
What they say is when you take that over somebody's career, their numbers are dead on. And for the most part, they are. But it's just when you're looking at it in a small sample, he's not the 11th best.
By the eye test, I mean, Cousins always puts up the numbers.
Hold on.
Dead.
Dave, I don't understand that last part. So when you average out, what they're saying is his 11th overall ranking is if you were to extrapolate it through his entire career?
No. His 11th all ranking is this season because he hasn't made any mistakes in the last 2 games. He goes up, right? When other quarterbacks may throw 400 yards, but they have 1 interception, right? That dings them down. But what PFF says for all their grades and PFF's system is that if you look at somebody's career, all those numbers, they may seem wacky. Dalvin Cook runs for a bazillion yards and 4 TDs, and he only gets an 87 score or whatever it was. And people are like, what? And they go, well, it's because he had blocking out there, right? He wasn't doing all the work. So that's the way it was. But if you take somebody over their career and take their numbers are correct. At the end of the career, they average out. It's just like taking quarterback wins. If you take quarterback wins over a career, the quarterback is who his wins are. No matter, you can say, hey, he's a 500 quarterback, and you can go, but he's great. He throws 4,000 to 5,000 yards and 30 touchdowns every year. But if they're in garbage time, they're in garbage time. He is a 500 quarterback.
Let me ask this question.
That's how they do that. It's math.
Let me ask this question.
It's Common Core math. It's that new bullshit. Yeah.
It may be.
There are 32 starting quarterbacks in the NFL.
Oh, sorry.
How many of those would you take over Kirk Cousins?
Most.
More than 10?
Yes.
I'm saying more than 20.
I'd have to look at it. I'm pretty sure I would go more than 10.
To be right in that.
I'd probably go more than 15.
20 to 22 range probably. I did this exercise on the page a couple weeks ago.
And
realistically,
that's where I am with Kirk.
Well, but going back to how Dave says they do the rankings, so basically you take over a career, you have rankings that are way the hell off every year, but when you average them all together at the end, then they're right on. So is the Pennsylvania election board doing this stuff for him, or what the hell?
Here we go. No politics, man.
No
politics. But I'm just saying the numbers don't add up.
All right.
I agree with Rhino. PFF has its place. Being able to compare positions that are historically impossible to compare, like offensive linemen and defensive linemen, linebackers, that's great. But everything else I really take with a grain of salt.
All right. Would you take Aaron Rodgers?
Yes.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson?
Yes.
Yeah,
Tom Brady?
Yes. Let's get rid of the obvious ones. Obviously. Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes? Josh Allen?
Duh.
Yeah, I'd take
this
Allen
year. Yeah, I sure would.
Okay, there's 5. Deshaun Watson?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Matt Ryan?
Push.
Yeah. Probably. Yeah, it's close, but.
Dak Prescott?
Healthy Dak, yes.
Yeah. Dak Prescott is basically Kirk Cousins there, so it's kind of a push. I mean, they both put up big numbers, but they don't win. So.
Yeah, but Dak's got some other talents that Kirk doesn't.
You know what? You save yourself a bunch of time. I'd take Mike fucking Tomczak over Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, go Bucks, baby!
It's probably going to be easier to go on the other direction, okay?
How about, would you take Nick Foles?
No.
Mitch Trubisky?
Hell no.
Nick Foles and Mr. Trubisky are what, 5-3?
5-4.
5-4?
My point is,
keep going.
With
we
Kirk,
have a whole list to go through.
Well, I'd go through them all, but I mean, it's.
My point with Kirk is, the Vikings are now tasking him to do something that Mitchell Trubisky could do if he were with the Vikings. Yet the Vikings are paying Kirk Cousins to not be that guy. They are paying Kirk Cousins to be a franchise guy, to put the team on his back when the chips are down and drive the field to win the game in the fourth quarter. And they paid wide receivers a lot of money to Kirk Cousins to throw to. And now they're saying, you know what, Kirk? We just want you to be a game manager.
Yeah, because it increases our chances to win.
Because it increases our chances to win. Because
Dalvin Cook can run.
Because if we put the ball in your hands, Kirk, you lose. We're going to lose.
They're not only paying him, they're extended him.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's beyond paying him.
That's just it.
The Vikings
freaking
have
6 games into an extension, they realize that they can't trust him to win them a game. And they can't, and half the time they can't trust him to not lose it.
Well, we're going to find out because he may have to win this game Monday night.
I think
may have to step up and win this game Monday night and win his. Besides that Bronco game, that's the game you can say Kirk Cousins won for us.
Yeah, that's the one.
That New Orleans,
the one in 19 regular season opportunities he had to lead a comeback. Denver was the one.
Can't take that New Orleans one away from him. Can't take that.
No, I mean,
it's regular. It's playoffs, and that was arguably the best throw of his career and Adam Thielen's best catch of his career.
Oh, absolutely.
But I mean, the overwhelming evidence is that when it comes down to it, man, Kirk ain't your guy.
Well,
and you're paying him to be your you're paying him to be your guy.
You're paying him elite money to,
and he ain't.
You're paying him to be one of these guys where you, when the game is on the line, you watch like Kansas City and they're down by 4 with a minute and a half to go. Mahomes has the ball. You're like, Kansas City is going to win this damn game. Same thing with Seattle. When Russell Wilson got the ball back, when we were playing him, there wasn't a one of us that didn't think Russell Wilson was going to run down the field and score the touchdown and beat us. When Kirk has that opportunity, they're like, we're all sitting there like, oh God, here we go.
Yeah, we thought that with Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers.
But my question to you guys concerning Zimmer and Spielman, they knew he wasn't the guy before they extended him. Why extend him? Why not just play it out this season and go, all right, we're just going to get through this shit. We're going to get through this nightmare and we're going to move on. Why prolong it? Why make it worse?
Because they were trying to sell the bill of goods that this wasn't a rebuilding year and they needed cap space.
Dude.
It's egos.
To bring in. Yeah, it's and that's the thing. Spielman's ego doesn't let him admit that he's wrong and he doesn't know what the hell he's doing.
Well, I would argue also the that win in New Orleans, that was a clutch moment by Kirk. You can't take that away from him. It was a big moment. It was a game. It was a game nobody thought the Vikings were going to win.
Yeah, it was
Kirk
great
didn't play
coaching by Zimmer.
Kirk didn't play a great game, but when it mattered, brother, he got it done. And that was, I think, a moment in time where the Vikings thought, oh, okay, he finally got over, because everybody was saying, well, now that you finally break through and you get over that hurdle, then it was, like Phil, remember everybody's talking about Phil Mickelson. Can't win a major. Finally wins a major, then he wins half a dozen or whatever it is. Right. And I think that was the thinking with Kirk at the time, and that was incorrect.
Yeah.
Speaking of majors, we have the Masters on this weekend for those that love golf.
Like 2 people, okay?
I like golf.
I like the Masters.
It's tradition start of spring. It's obviously 2020 and we're having it in the fall. But
can we talk about that on the Masters show? Can you guys tell me who's playing corner this week instead? You can put me to sleep.
I don't know.
Corner.
Playing corner.
I know we got
Gladney is one.
We got off on the train went off on the Kirk Cousins. It's better than this quarterback. Let's steer it back and let's talk about our defense for a minute, because I'm really interested in hearing Rhino and Ted Glover talk to me about the defense. The Bears are -3, just like us. Turnover ratio. They're just as bad as we are. They have given up 23 sacks, which is how many more than us? 7 more sacks than we've given up. They've given up 23. We've given up 16. So tell me defensively. Tell me about the corners. Tell me how we're going to attack the Bears, and tell me how we're going to win this game defensively.
Go ahead, Rhino.
Well, I mean, this is, going to be another key show, seeing how Gladney's developing. I mean, he's looked pretty good the last 2 weeks. I think, he's starting to get it a little bit. There's still going to be the rookie mistakes, of course, and I mean, you look at the beginning of that Detroit game last week, both Gladney and Boyd were flying all over the place, coming up on run support, plowing into people. I mean, making hits, making tackles. I mean, that they were aggressive and they looked pretty damn good considering. Now we just need to get more people stepping up and able to do that. Now, is Dantzler cleared concussion protocol yet? I haven't heard.
Not that I've heard, but he's
not as of yet. I don't think
we're into the second week, so
right.
You would expect him to clear this week.
Right. And then now we've got a couple
Holton Hill went on IR.
Right, which not a big loss because he wasn't playing with the crap when he was here. But we got a couple of the guys we picked up at the 7-Eleven on the way home the other day, that Cordera Hankersley or whatever, but I don't know if whatever his name was.
Hey, you at the Slurpee machine.
Corduroy Hanky or whatever his name is.
You at the Slurpee machine. Yeah. Hey, can you play? Can you play corner? No, I'm talking to you at the Slurpee machine. Yeah, right. Come here.
Hey, big dog, get over here. Come on.
The guys on the depth chart behind Gladney and Dantzler, who are your 2 listed starters, are Mr. Harrison Hond, and Chris Boyd.
Well, Boyd played better than Hand did.
And I saw something? Didn't he get hurt or something? I don't know. I think every cornerback on the roster is hurt besides Gladney right now.
Haven't they all gotten hurt at one point in time?
So if he's hurt, Ted, do we say aloha to Mr. Hand? Sorry, I had to do it.
The Bears offense, they're not intimidating in any way, shape, or form. There's not a guy on the Bears offense that you look and say, I gotta stop that guy on every play, like there is with Dalvin Cook for the Vikings.
None.
That said,
Well,
that
Allen
said,
Robinson is their best.
He's
receiver.
their best receiver, yeah. But
he's no tier one. He's no Julio Jones, though. Let's be honest.
No, but the problem that we run into with this is that we've been so historically bad there the last couple 3 years, and while Chicago's offense is not good, they do just enough so they end up beating us by 3 points or 5 points or whatever it ends up being. It's a low scoring match, but we can't do jack squat and they just can't do squat. So it's
what's driven me crazy the last few years is Mitch Trubisky, and like I said opening the show, there's talk of Mitch Trubisky starting this week. Mitch Trubisky would sit there and our defensive rush would come in, and then he'd escape out and get first downs, 20 yards, and drive us all nuts.
He's currently listed as doubtful, and
Ted.
And if my memory serves me correct, if my memory serves me correct, the last time we faced Nick Foles, we were on the wrong end of a 38-7 ass whipping in the NFC Championship game.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
What were you going to say, Ted, when you said they don't really have any stars? Were you going to pile something on top of that, or was it?
I was going to say, that was it. That said, there's nobody you got to stop. But that said, they've got, two quarterbacks, Mitchell Trubisky and Nick Foles, that have had a lot of success against the Vikings, and I'm wary of what they're going to do. I mean, it just seems there's always somebody from the Bears that you have never heard of before, and he's like 5'3", right. He weighs 140 pounds, and the next thing you know, he's going all Tim Biakabatuka against Ohio State, running for 340 yards and catching 12 passes. And you're like, who is this clown? And you never hear from him again. And that's what I'm afraid is going to happen Monday night.
Remember that one game that I think it was a Thursday night or a Monday night, or Neil Anderson came out and just kicked our ass?
Yes.
In the dome, and we're going, yes. Who the fuck is Neil Anderson?
Who?
It's like the next game we play, they don't got any backs, and some guy named Matt Sully gets 3 touchdowns. It's always somebody.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Didn't they have a game, maybe that 2017 or 2015 game where they started out, their running back ran like 80 yards on the first play? And we were going,
I can't remember.
Somebody ran, it might have been Montgomery in his rookie year. I don't know who it was, but it started out shit. It always starts out shitty. Always on that.
And then they gave up a safety, and then Bradford got benched, and whatever. It's going to be a weird
Bradford
game.
Couldn't even walk. He just came back out from under center and fell down because he couldn't move.
It's always a weird game there. It always is.
Yeah, always. And the Vikings are the victim of, like, they get tackled for a safety, or they get a blocked punt, or
they drop the punt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or
they drop the punt.
Or the punter misses the kick when he with his foot. I don't know. I just
you know what? You know what's funny? When the schedule comes out every year, I always go, can we please play at Soldier Field in a Sunday morning game? Well, it's morning here in the West. I just want to play them in a normal game. It's not on prime time. Play them during the day, and let's get it over with. Whenever I see a Monday night or a Thursday night game at Soldier Field, just the air comes out of me, man. It does.
That game should be.
Here's the forecasted weather for Monday night.
That's a lot of fucking numbers, man. You want me to read all that?
Well, it's anywhere from 41 degrees to 36 degrees by the time the game's over.
Do your nuts shrivel up at 36 degrees? Does your nuts shrivel up? I don't know. I'm in California. You guys tell me. Is that cold or what?
No.
That's not bad.
No? Okay.
Not bad.
As long as it's clear and cool, she'll be able to get Cousins out on the outside without breaking off an icicle. I mean, we can got to get him on the perimeter, man. If he stands in the pocket, it's not going to end well.
No.
All right.
We'll see what happens.
With that, let's do last words. Rhino, you got any?
Black Swan.
No, not Black Swan.
I got one. How about Phoebe Cates, Ridgemont High?
There you go.
I
know that.
Yeah, and all the millennials are going, what?
Sorry,
what the hell is fast? No, that's all right. This is going to be a a big test. You know, we're going to see if our offensive line is finally starting to make something of themselves, or if the last 2 weeks have just been a mirage against a bad Detroit team and a team from Wisconsin that had no interest in trying to tackle anybody. You know, if we can get some holes opened up for Cook and we can get the run game going, then I think we got a good chance at having a good night. But if it's been like it is the last couple of years, you know, where it's 1 yard, -5, -2, 3 yards, -1, and we're getting them second and third and long, and you know, we're still the highest team in the league running on second and long, second and 10, whatever. You know, and if we're getting nothing on first down, we try to run again on second down, and then we end up throwing to BB for 5 yards on third down. I mean, it's going to be a long freaking night. You know, and if we get into that, then we got to make damn sure that the special teams did some extra work this week, so we don't have block punts like we did last week.
Oh,
because I mean, it could very well boil down to whoever makes that 1 or 2 bad mistakes is the one that's going to lose this game.
You have 2 block punts against the Bears in Soldier Field. You're not going to win.
You're toasted. No, you're done.
Speaking of special teams, Austin Cutting is presently on COVID IR for being in proximity of somebody with COVID. They expect him to be available Monday.
David's going to send flowers to the funeral home.
Yes. He hasn't practiced all week. Not that I think that's a big deal.
Probably naked.
He's a long snapper. What do they practice?
Snapper.
Dave, don't send him any dick pics. He doesn't want those.
Okay.
Hell.
TMI.
Ted, last words?
Okay, here's the deal. The score is going to be weird. It's going to be like 18-16. It's going to be a weird score. And the Vikings will have an opportunity to kick a game-winning field goal. and it's going to be like a 48-yarder. And Bailey's going to have to get all of it. And you're going to think, you know, there's no wind. He's having a good year. He's going to nail it, and he's going to plant his left foot, and it's going to slip on the freaking cow pasture turf. And he's gonna whiff on the kick, and then whoever the holder is going to call fire, and he's going to run, and he's going to try and throw the ball down the field, and it's going to be caught. It's going to be caught. It's going to be caught. And the guy, whoever catches it, it's going to be like the I don't know, Irv Smith Jr. And he's going to catch it on the 12, and he's going to break a tackle, and he's going to be walking in. And he's going to fumble it out of midair, and it's going to go out of the end zone, and the Vikings are going to lose. That's how the game's going to end. Or Bailey's going to hit a field goal. I'm telling you, there's going to weird things happen in Soldier Field. I fully expect absolute, complete, bizarre weirdness.
I can't.
And the Vikings, I hope the Vikings win. Until they can win consistently up there, I dread this game every year. I dread it.
As much as I'd love to see that ending, because that would make every highlight reel for the rest of my life.
Like
I am going to go with you guys. You guys know I'm a big pattern guy. I follow a lot of patterns. I do a lot of things in my life with patterns. So I'm going to go with this. In 2015, we won the game on the last play with a game-winning field goal from Blair Walsh, 36-yarder. We won the game. In 2017. We won the game on the last play of the game, which is a field goal by Kai Forbath. So the last 2 times we've won there, it's with zeros on the clock in a field goal. So damn it, I'm going to play the pattern game. I'm going to say Bailey with the game winner by 3, but this time we win by 2. I'm calling 26-24. But I think it's going to be by 2, but I think I'm going to go with the pattern game-winning field goal, which doesn't even come close to the fire Ted just threw out there. I mean, Irv Smith stumbling into the end zone like Pete Banaszak and shit. That would be a hell of an ending. Remember Banaszak? Stabler to Banaszak to Casper on the Holy Roller? That would be a hell of a way to end it. But I'm calling Bailey with the game winner. And no, I'm not drunk. Meow, meow, Viking cow. Dave, what do you think? How do you see this game unfolding in Soldier Field?
It's been a house of horrors, and I don't know.
House of horrors or a house of horrors?
Horrors. But I guarantee
the other one probably would be more enjoyable.
I guarantee you we'll be here 15 minutes after the game ends for Good Morning Gallahorn in the Raw to discuss that game and give you our game reactions. Will it be as Ted said, as Drew said, or do you think as Rhino said? Or do you think the Vikings are going to go in and whip their butts? We'll find out. Join us 15 minutes after the game. And until then, enjoy your weekend. Enjoy great food, friends, everything else. And SKOL Vikings! Thank you for watching or listening. As always, if you like, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications. And if you're listening to the podcast, please rate us on your favorite aggregator. SKOL, everybody.